Welcome to Ready to Exhale, where we center Black women, their lived experiences, expertise, and rich stories. In each episode, we will gain a deeper understanding of what it takes to hold space for our own well-being. This is a brave space where you will be inspired to express your joy and live in the fullness of who you are. It's also a place where we are no longer waiting to exhale. So now, get ready to exhale and enjoy the show. Today's guest is a visionary leader who is reimagining public health as a pathway to liberation for Black women. Vanessa Garrison is the co-founder of GirlTrek, the largest health nonprofit in the country for Black women and girls, with over 1 million walkers nationwide. Through GirlTrek, Vanessa has sparked a civil rights-inspired movement grounded in the simple, radical act of walking. From reclaiming green spaces to improving walkability in high-need communities, Vanessa's work is transforming the landscape of health, joy, and justice. She's a TED speaker, an Aspen Institute fellow, and has been named a health hero by Essence. It was such an honor to sit in conversation with Vanessa. Let's get into it. Vanessa, welcome to Ready to Exhale, the podcast. I'm so glad that you took out time to be in conversation with me today.
I'm grateful for the invitation. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, Ready to Exhale is all about pausing and breathing deeply. When was the last time, we're just going to dive right in. When was the last time you felt like you could truly exhale? And what led to that moment?
That's such a good question. I feel like the last time was the last time, which is really every single morning when I wake up, because I don't feel like it's optional. I feel like it's a daily lifeline for me. I feel like it's a requirement. I feel like I actually almost don't know how to engage with the world first unless I'm doing the deep pausing, the deep inhaling, the deep exhaling. I'm centering myself. I mean, I wake up and lay in the bed and I'm like, first do a prayer. And then I do affirmations for myself where I tell myself, you know what, like, you got this, where I intentionally shift my mindset to like what I want to achieve for the day and how I want to feel, how I want to experience it, what I want to look like, what I want to dress. Like it feels like something that's such a part of like my practices on a daily basis. And I don't say that out of like, because I have it figured out, because I don't. I say it out of because literally like water, like I'm just like on a day, almost sometimes on a minute by minute basis, just trying to navigate. And so yeah, every single day, I'm like, I have to figure out a way to deep inhale and deep exhale.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like a self-care practice for you, that it is part of your ritual of taking care of yourself, really getting centered through your breath.
Yeah, I consider it, and I think these two things could be interchangeable, but I consider it a deeply mental health practice. Like, and I like to
Yeah,
name it as that in that actual way
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm trying to, like, my grandmother always used to say, you better be glad you woke up in your right mind. And
That's right. That's right.
yeah, like for me, it is an acknowledgement that like we wrestle not against flesh and blood, and that it is like a spiritual practice, and that breath for me is really this Holy Spirit moving through me. And
Yeah.
so it feels like a deeply like a mental health practice, and it feels like a spiritual practice where I'm really covering
Yeah.
myself for the day. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful.
Mm.
Before we dive deeper into our conversation, how are you doing? Really? And what's nourishing you these days?
How am I doing really? Um I am in a metamorphosis.
Yeah.
I'm not to
Yeah.
put everybody in my business, but like I really have been in like a deep like personal metamorphosis over the last
Mm,
like 5 years, and it feels very um like I'm coming to the end of some sort of journey. And so that's like my personal experience, and that personal experience aligned with like what the world is experiencing. Like the question of like how I'm doing for me is like a little bit of a tricky one, where I'm just like, I am in it. Like I'm
Yeah,
in the work of living, in the work of healing, in the work of trying to show up for people, in the work of trying to be of service. And so that feels like different, like all the time, you know? So I don't have
sure.
like one word for it. I really don't. But you had a second question. What was the second question?
What's nourishing you these days?
Ooh, what's nourishing me? Right now, my cousins, because I'm at my cousin's house and she let me sleep in her house. So, like having community and having family and having places where you can go and that kind of familiarity. I'm here in my hometown of Seattle. So, like, that always really nourishes me. It was Juneteenth yesterday. I really kicked it with my peoples. It's like the real peoples of, like, you know, everybody know each other from the block type of situation. So, that has felt very nourishing for me. I've been taking really long walks since I've been here. And I walk every day, but man, I don't know if people have spent time in the Pacific Northwest, but it is chef's kiss in terms of just like the natural
Beautiful.
environment. Yeah, I've been walking at this place called Chambers Bay, which has been really nice and beautiful. Um, yeah, so those things are
I
nourishing
love
me. A lot of
that.
long walks, family, and community.
I love that. My family nourishes me too. Going back to my hometown is really, it fills my cup every time I go back. I just,
Yeah.
my mom still lives there, and there's nothing like being with people that know you, like know you when you were like 6 years old,
Yeah.
5 years old, you know, like they know that, you know, like I
Yes.
get called my nickname when I'm at home. They're like, That's Sissy, you know, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Sissy there,
Yeah.
you know, it feels good. It's just really nourishing. So I feel that. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you had that the last
Yeah.
couple of days.
Yeah. I I think there is something about like bearing witness and having people who can bear witness to like the parts of your story and how those stories have a little bit. This is for me, like, I was like, my story has always been the story. Like, it's always, those components have always been inside of me. And I feel like there's people who get to like witness that and know it themselves and like see it come to fruition and understand you in this way that
Mm.
maybe you didn't even understand yourself. So that's what
Mhm.
for me it has felt like when I'm at home.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, you are doing such good work with your
Thank you.
organization, GirlTrek, and it has grown into the largest health movement for Black women in America. What was the seed of that idea, and what called you to create this space?
Yeah. Even when you said your organization, I kind of had a a a cringe because I'm really, it's
Ah,
not my organization. It
yeah.
is, I walk alongside and with a million Black
Mm,
women. It is our community, our sisterhood, our movement, our organization. Um, it was co-founded by me and a good friend of mine, Morgan. And Morgan actually had the idea first, so it was a seed she planted herself. She was in education and she was working at a school in Connecticut, and she was taking young girls hiking at the school on the weekends. And I was just her friend. We had met in college. I was working in media at the time. We were having a conversation, regular conversations about what she was doing and how it was impacting their lives. And I had a theory that, as good of an idea as it was to walk with girls, that if we could figure out a way for their mothers to walk with them, and that if we could figure out a way for their aunties to walk with them, that if we could put health back into the domain of the home and out of the domain of the schools, that it would really be the revolution. Morgan agreed, and we started partnering up together to found GirlTrek
mm,
in the iteration of what it is today, which is a call to action to Black women everywhere to stop everything they're doing and to start walking in the best direction of their healthiest, most fulfilled lives. And we give them tools
mm,
to do that. We give them a community to do that. And we give them a reminder that they are walking in the footsteps of a really deep legacy of freedom fighters, of spiritual warriors, of alchemists, of women who made a way out of no way, and where walking was both a tool for social change, a tool for connection, and a tool for personal health. And so we tell that
Mm.
story in a way that allows women to understand that our walking is protest, our walking is prayer, our walking is a daily practice around our health. So it's so much more than I think what it is on the surface. And that seed that Morgan planted in those schools, it sprouted into two friends, we said, and then those two friends sprouted into a million friends. And we're just honestly getting started. So it's going to be exciting to see the harvest of what the million women plant and what comes to bear from that work.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm hearing sisterhood, community, and that is really central to Girl Trek.
Yeah, because it's central to Black women. It's not just central to
That's
Girl
right.
Trek. So it's, yeah.
That's right.
So
That's right.
all we're doing is identifying what has already worked, and we are creating some
Right.
systems around it, and we're scaling it. But that was really it. Like when we were really studying the health crisis to understand what was happening, and we have codified it now into something that we call the three deadly eyes, the things that we've now understood a decade into this work, what is killing Black women. And it's inactivity, where 2/3 of Black women get little to no leisure time physical activity. I will say because they hardly have any leisure time. We don't have the economic resources. We don't have the support systems. We don't have all the things, but we're not getting the physical activity that we need. We're isolated. And we found that from women who say that they are in community and feeling alone. We are isolated in terms of
Mm.
like real safe spaces where we can talk about what's going on. And that's where walking and talking together has become such a powerful tool for women, because what happens when you are out walking and your body is able to experience some relief is that through your body experiencing some relief, your mind is then able to go to places it wasn't able to go to. It's able to consider things it wasn't able to consider. And so when we are able to walk in community with other people, you have somebody to talk about those things as they're coming up. So solving for isolation has been really important to us. And then the last three
Mm.
deadly I is injustice. We just are
Mm.
suffering under systems that weren't designed for us. And we feel that we can walk and talk together, but that we can walk, talk, and solve those problems together, because in collective mass, we have the ability to really address those systems.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's a need. It's a need. And it's powerful what you all are doing with Black women, in community with Black women. How has walking with other Black women transformed your sense of belonging or identity?
It's, I don't know if it's transformed it, but it has confirmed it. I
Mm,
have, I've
mhm.
always been in community. I was in drill team when I was younger. If it was twin day at school, I always was dressing like my girlfriends. Like I'm one of those girls who've always had a lot of girlfriends. I've always looked for like community. I've always looked for like, do we got matching outfits? Are we in a uniform? What are we doing? What's the call to action? I
We getting
wasn't
our
actually,
shirts. We're gonna get our shirts
yeah,
airbrushed.
yeah. The only thing that I actually didn't do is I wasn't in a, I'm not in like a Divine Nine sorority, but I've always had a confirmation that we are so much alike more than that we are different, and that across like, I've lived all over the country, and I've like, wow, all these women still seem like the women who I was walking with in the Pacific Northwest or who I grew up with. It doesn't matter what class system we're in, what our economics are. There's just a unified rhythm that we get into when we walk and talk together. And that's, it has been such confirmation for me that no matter where I'm
Mm,
walking, I'm talking about if I'm walking in Soweto or Seattle, that rhythm of is the same, that like the
yeah.
seeing each other is the same. And that part has been really a confirmation for me around just what we have as a resource, like how special it is. This kind of, it's an internal
Mm,
knowing. It's like, it's, I was telling somebody this because we're in a conversation today about like gender a lot, right? And Girl Trek is
mhm,
called Girl Trek. And so there's been a lot of
mhm.
conversations around the name Girl Trek. And I was just like, the 100 ways that we say and mean girl don't really ever have anything to do half the time with gender at all. We mean girl. we mean girl, we mean that, it is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's a language. And that shared language, that kind of like eye contact language, that head nod language,
yeah,
like that's what has happened for me in community while I'm walking and talking with women, is I'm just like, I'm affirmed and confirmed that we
yeah.
are the same all across the diaspora.
That's right. That's right. There's something so familiar when you enter, like, I'm holding space for Black women. I just launched a cohort for 11 Black women and holding space with them. And something
Oh,
that came up was, you may not know these other women yet, but there is
mhm,
something familiar about
mhm.
being in community with Black women. We know something about each other that we just know, right? I don't
Yeah.
have to know your story. I don't have to,
Mhm,
right? But there is something that I do know about you because
mhm.
Black women know. We just know. We be knowing. We
Yes,
know,
we
right?
do
We
know,
see
and we
each
do.
other. We feel each other.
Yeah,
We know. So I think that
yeah.
that's really powerful.
The we be knowing is important and deep, because let me tell you, the amount of times I have gaslit myself,
Mm.
questioning what I know. And then the lesson
Ooh,
always comes back
yes,
to that I already really knew it in the beginning, like that deep intuition, that like real connection. Like we've been disconnected from it a little bit, not a little bit, a lot, a bit. We've been disconnected from
that's
it
right.
intentionally, and that knowing is something that, man, I'm like, I want every woman to get back to that.
That's right. That's right. Oh, and oppressive systems. That's their intent, is to get us disconnected from
Yeah,
ourselves, not
yeah,
listening to ourselves, doubting ourselves. I say this all the time when I'm coaching my clients, is like, the most powerful relationship that you'll ever cultivate is the relationship between you and you. And I think
yeah.
part of that relationship, cultivating that relationship, is listening to yourself and trusting yourself,
That's
listening
right.
to your intuition. Like, she knows what's up. I have said that so
Yeah,
many times to my clients, like, your intuition knows what's up. Like,
yeah,
listen to her, right? But it's hard because we
yeah.
are conditioned to not trust ourselves, to not listen to ourselves. But we be knowing. We be
Maybe no.
knowing.
Yes. Do you coach women? Do you have, is that who you mean by your clients?
Yes, yes. So I do one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, I do one-on-one coaching, and then I also I just launched my coaching cohort where I
Okay.
coach a group of Black women. So, and I only coach Black women, and it's
Okay.
been beautiful and lovely, and yeah, I've been doing that
Oh,
since
amazing.
2019.
Okay.
2019. Yeah, it's so good, so good. I love that I get to do that every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
What moment from a Girl Trek walk or event um, that has left a lasting imprint on your heart? What's a moment?
Mm.
Or maybe it's more than one moment. Maybe it's moments or
Yeah.
a feeling that's left an imprint on your heart.
I have so many feelings and so many moments. And the first thing that came into my mind is, um, it must have been 2016 or 2017. It was like very early on in our work. We had an organizer. Her name was Donna Stamps, and Donna lived in Edwards, Mississippi, a tiny little town like 2 hours outside of Jackson. And she had heard about Girl Trek, found out about it, and just became an organizer, because Girl Trek is open source. It's like wherever you are, it can be. And she really organized her entire town of Edwards, Mississippi, and they became Girl Trek evangelists, like Girl Trek fanatics, and they were walking as crews and getting up early morning and walking together. And Donna had a daughter named has a daughter named Kalisha, and at the time Kalisha was like 16, and Donna and Kalisha had traveled to Washington D.C., where I live. So I'd never met her. I just knew that she was an organizer, and she had reached out to me, and she was just like, I'm going to be in town for a conference, and I brought my teenage daughter, and we'd love to take a walk with you. And I remember feeling so tired that day, and I kind of had an attitude, and I was just like, oh my God, I have to like meet this woman and I have to walk. And then I was like, I checked myself and I was like, no, this feels like the most important thing, because I was going to cancel. I was tired. I was like, it feels like the most important thing, Vanessa, actually. Like, no matter how tired you are, this woman is here. And
Mm.
we took a walk. It was the most beautiful walk. She told me all about her family heritage, her lineage, and how much GirlTrek had changed her life, and mostly how it was changing her daughter's life. And what she was teaching her daughter. And I tell that story because about 6 months after we took that walk in Washington, D.C., Donna and a bunch of her GirlTrek members were in Mississippi, and they had signed up for a half marathon that they were running. And Donna was on mile 9 and she died. She had a heart attack and died in the
Wow.
race in her GirlTrek shirt.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, and Morgan and I were at a training with some of our other organizers in West Virginia, and we got the call. And I felt so overwhelmed for her family and for Kalisha. And I was just like, what is this going to mean? And I felt like she was walking in her GirlTrek shirt. Is her family going to hate us? Did we push her too hard? Did we, it was like the whole
Mm.
community was walking with GirlTrek. And me and Morgan, we felt so much like guilt and so much responsibility. And the family
Mhm.
invited us down to Mississippi for the funeral services. And when we got down there, almost half the church was women wearing blue shirts, and
Oh my
maybe half of
gosh.
the service was the family saying how this had brought Donna into such life and such joy. And her daughter Kalisha is still a part of the membership today, and she's such a beautiful young girl. And so, and her entire town is still walking. And so, yeah, I think about Donna a lot, and I think about like that story, and I just think about the walk that her and I took in DC and everything she told me. And I think about how everything she told me is still true because it's living through her daughter. And then I think about that it was still
Mm.
true even when she was alive, because her family was like, she came alive. She had lost a bunch of weight. She had
Right.
done all this stuff. And
Right.
so for me, I'm just like, that's the point. Like, not even that we live longer, although GirlTrek has a mission to increase life expectancy for Black
Sure.
women by 10
Sure.
years and 10 years, but it's that we live more deeply, more joyfully, more a lot, that we have a quality of life that we're not able to access when we're not well. And that part to me is like, she improved her quality of life for the years that she was here.
As Black women, we have everyday stressors, and those stressors are compounded by systemic racism. This stress weathers our mental and emotional health. It's imperative to move this stress out of our bodies so we can live healthier and happier lives. Exhale app is a resource to partner with you in your well-being journey. To download, go to the App Store and Google Play. Now, let's get back to our episode. That's so beautiful.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. And that you
Yeah.
showed up in this city at this memorial service and everybody's in their Girl Trek shirts. Like it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
wow, what a moment.
I think they didn't have, I want to be accurate, that they had blue corsages, all of
Oh,
them.
I
They had
see.
put on the
Yeah,
blue.
in
Yeah.
honor of. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Wow.
it was a really beautiful time. So, yeah.
Hmm. Well, we honor her and her family in this moment.
Hmm.
Thank you
Yes, we
for
do.
sharing her with us today
Yeah.
and just holding my heart for her and
Hmm.
her family.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Black women we're often praised for our strength, but sometimes that strength can come at a cost of our health. How would you redefine or reframe strength in the context of wellness? Because it's important for us to be
It's look,
strong.
it's that we should be praised for our strength. This is one of the things I would say, we should be praised for it. We
Yes.
really do have it. Our resilience factor is off the charts. Should we need to be that resilient? Not necessarily, but we are.
Right.
But how I like to redefine it in the space of health is redirecting the strength towards the strength to break away from practices and habits and behaviors and people and communities and places that no longer serve us. And
Mm,
I think it's an
mhm.
invitation. has to be an invitation to Black women to acknowledge that we have that strength and that we're directing it every day towards things that don't often pour back into us, right? Like our strength is
Right.
about fight, it's about the survival, it's about the family dynamics, it's about, it's about the strength to work every day and to go to school and to get all these degrees and to overcome and to, not be sad when we ain't got no mamas or whatever it is, the things that are. And
Right.
those things
Right.
are true. So I'm just saying, acknowledge that we have that capacity and be like, wow, if I have that capacity and I've used it in this way, imagine how I could use it to break some of these habits, break some of these patterns, to call in, use that strength to call in something new, use that strength. It's that Lucille Clifton poem that, won't you come celebrate with me, the who I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay, like the strength to make up who you are, like
That's
that.
it.
Yeah, so I like to just think about it that way for my own, this is me speaking for my own self, that I was like, wow, I'm really strong, like I've always really known this, I've overcome a lot of different things and all this stuff, and I was just like,
Mhm.
and I can apply that in a different way, and through applying your strength in that way you access um something else, and I don't want to call it softness, but it's the opposite of strength. You
Mhm.
access capacity, you
Yeah.
access capacity. And that,
Yeah.
like the strength that we are celebrating and have, is it's from a lack of capacity. It's like we don't have the even space to be anything other than strong. So if I got to choose, that's
Just
what I'm
keep
going to
being
be.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when we can be well, we can access a different capacity and we can access so many other things that we can be.
Yeah. The image that flashed in my mind when you were talking was a well,
Yeah.
like this deep well that I can go
Yeah.
to and drink from and drink
Yeah.
from and drink from, right? And it doesn't run dry, right?
Yeah.
It's using that strength in a different way. What a powerful framing of being strong and Black women's strength, like accessing that strength to be well.
Yeah. Yes. When you were saying
Powerful.
the well, for some reason it's not a well, it's a river. But I don't know if you know Leon Thomas, but he has a song, "Take Me to the River."
Yes,
I
I love that song. I
Yes,
want
it was
to
just something about,
go.
it's that. It's like, take me to the river. You
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
where the water is.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I can,
Hmm.
yeah, drink.
Hmm.
And what's around the river? There's greenery, there's
All the
vegetation,
things.
there's
Yeah.
flowers there, right? It's
Yeah.
I'm getting all kind of images. I'm like, I want to go lay
Me
by a river.
too. Me too. No, I was no. There's a proverb, African proverb. It says, "Let your love be like the misty rain, flowing softly but flooding the river deep." Like all of the
Mm,
imagery and metaphors around water for me are like so important in terms of just like a reminder, like of our oneness and our power and the nourishment that it gives us. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Our oneness and our power.
Hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future of wellness for Black women, and how can we collectively get there?
Mm. My vision is that our traditions shift and our practices and our habits shift in such a way that we don't know how or where it came from, but we just notice ourselves doing the things that are so brand new, that are and we're doing them in community with our families in such a way that it is second nature to us, to live well and to be well and to care for
Mm,
ourselves. And I think
mhm.
it's connected for me to traditions in the same way that we have such beautiful traditions now, like around dinner, around family. I'm getting ready to gather with my family tomorrow for a graduation barbecue, and we're gonna have all the things and do all the things. And I was double dutching yesterday at the
I
Juneteenth
love
stuff,
it.
Yes, and
Yes.
we have so many traditions, right? So I just want those traditions to edify us. And my vision for us is that we have so many of them that they're just second nature and that we're passing them down and that we're
Yes.
celebrating those traditions and that those traditions are lifting us up.
It's so powerful. It's just second
Mm.
nature. Second nature
Hmm.
for me to go
It's
on a
just
walk
second nature
every day, right? Second
every
nature
day.
for me to grab my family and have them walk with me. It's just what we
Yes.
do.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like the Girl Trek member that came to visit you and that
Yeah.
ended up
Donna.
passing
Yeah.
on, like Donna. It was
Hmm.
what she did,
Yeah.
right? That everybody knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about it, right? Her daughter was a part
That's
of it.
right.
Like it became a part of who she was and what she did. And
Yeah.
I see that. I can see
Hmm.
that, right? Like it
Hmm.
being, that's how we get well, is
Yeah.
also doing it in community with other people, right?
Hmm.
So beautiful. Girl
Yeah.
Trek draws inspiration from Harriet Tubman, I
Hmm.
believe,
Yes, we do.
and other freedom walkers of the past. What does liberation look like in the lives of Black women today?
Yeah. We don't even just draw inspiration from Harriet Tubman. It really was a genuine question. I can even remember where I was when Morgan and I were having this conversation. But we said, we were like, if Harriet Tubman could walk herself to freedom, can we walk herself to hell? And then
Mm,
that evolved into understanding though what was her strategies, because it couldn't just be in theory that we're inspired by her and we're following her. So we really dissected it, and we have founded the movement on something called the Tubman Doctrine. And the doctrine has
mm,
four parts. And the first part, the step one of the doctrine, is never ask permission to save your own life, to walk now in the direction, because that's what Harriet Tubman did. She left. She left her husband. She left her family. She left her brothers. It's a part of the story that I don't even know if people know. She asked her brothers to come with her and her husband, and they said no, they weren't going to go. They were afraid, and she just decided to leave them. And we all
wow.
might have to do that. We have to make those type of choices. There's so many things that we have to leave and go it alone. And we tell that, there's a women used to come to Girl Trek, and they still do, and they're like, I'm looking for somebody to walk with, I'm looking for a crew. But we tell them, like, actually you got to go it alone at first. Like, that trying to make appointments with other people, trying to figure out where they are, trying to drive over to meet them, those actually be the barriers. And that idea, it is a through line in a lot of different areas of our life, not just health. But never ask permission to save your own life is the first part of the doctrine. And I think it's an invitation to all Black women to ask themselves where they are asking for permission and shouldn't be. But the second part of the doctrine is maybe the most important part, and it's the most important part of Harriet Tubman's story. It's that when you learn the way, go back and get a sister. When you figure it out
Mm,
for yourself. And
mm,
so, she's famous for having made all those trips to come back. On her second trip, she did come back for her husband, and he was remarried. And I just and I tell that story too because, right, but it didn't stop her. She just kept going. So
right.
we tell women, like, we don't even ask them to be leaders or organizers in the movement until they have a practice themselves, and that's when you can go back and you can get somebody else and you can walk them through what to do. The third part of
Mm,
the doctrine is to rally our allies. The healing journey and the wellness journey, it requires resource. It requires doctors. It requires other people. It requires sometimes a therapist. It requires, all sorts of other modalities that you need to bring into your space, and to rally your
right.
allies in all the ways. That there was a deep abolitionist network that helped Harriet Tubman. And the fourth part of the doctrine is to find joy. And
Mm,
that part matters because if you go up to Auburn, New York, which was Harriet Tubman's free home when she once she escaped to freedom, she lived there as a free woman for 50 plus years. I feel like if we understand that part of her story,
wow.
that we think of her in the struggle and the fight in this, but she lived as a free woman on a huge, beautiful parcel of land that she bought for herself, that she created at home for the aged on, that she planted apple trees on. Never mind the man who had remarried. She found her a younger man and married him. She adopted a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not just inspired by her. We are really saying this is a blueprint. And the blueprint could be Harriet for the women who are inspired by her, like we are, or the blueprint could be your own grandmother. We call in GirlTrek, we have something called Daughters of, where we say our daughters of story. I am Vanessa, the daughter of Annette, the daughter of Olympia, the daughter of Melvina, the daughter of Katie. Those are the women in my maternal lineage. I bring them into all the rooms
Mm,
that I am when I call their names, and they've also given me a blueprint, right?
that's
So
right.
it's Harriet Tubman, it's the other freedom walkers, it's the freedom walkers in your own family. And mainly the point is to find somebody or something to understand that you don't have to create the plan yourself from
That's
scratch.
right. That's
There's
right.
other people who have figured it out. And a little bit on our wellness journeys, I think that I've seen women like we isolate and we're like, I got to do this
Mhm.
all alone. We um, overcomplicate and we're just like, I need
Mhm.
all this fitness equipment and this gym thing and a new outfit. And then speaking to myself, sometimes I'd be like that, all these things. We berate ourselves because
Right.
we're like, I'm gonna go hard, and then when you only go hard for 5 seconds, then you like, damn. So it's just like,
Right.
look to the blueprints, because if you look to the blueprints, you would know that falling off is actually a part of what has been our mother stories, but they got back up. That's the point of it. And that we don't have to be so defeated by wherever we are in our journey, because there's so many models to say we're gonna get to the other side somehow, some way. You're going to get to the other side. And I think that I hope Black women out there know that. There's a lot of women who I know are just starting out, right? Are
Yeah.
starting out for the 100th time, and they're thinking like, okay, what does this mean for me? But it just means that you're going to make it maybe on this 101 time.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
If folks want to get involved in Girl Trek that are listening, they're like, oh, this is my first time hearing about Girl Trek, or maybe they've seen a little bit about Girl Trek, but they're listening to you on this podcast and they may want to get involved. Like, how do they engage with Girl Trek, the community?
It's a good question. The first thing that folks need to know is that the only thing you need to do to be a member of Girl Trek is to take your first walk, and to take it in the name of your own radical healing. So a 30-minute walk is our commitment, a 30-minute walk 5 days a week at 7 years to your life expectancy. If you're walking 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, it's always been our commitment. You can go to girltrek.org and you can take the pledge to become a member. We say that's important, to be counted, to be one in a million, because we're building a constituency. And so we really want to know where you're walking so that we can push in support, so that we can connect you to other women. All of that happens when you go to girltrek.org and take the pledge. If you're just hearing this, there are thousands of women who have been walking with us for the past 10 weeks in something called Self Care School. Self Care School is a curriculum. You can start anytime on week 0. You can go to myselfcareschool.com. There are 50 life saving lessons, all broken down into 30-minute walks. And so you can walk and you can earn badges, and you can really connect with other women who are doing it at myselfcareschool.com. And then the last thing I will say is that we have a new app that is coming out. It is called The Underground. Yes.
Yay! So exciting.
Yes. And the underground will allow you to track your walking. It will allow you to organize your walking crews. It allow you to schedule walks with your walking crews. And most importantly, it will allow you to walk and talk with other women. And so it has a live audio walk and talk feature. I'm definitely going to have you on, Katara. This is the one thing that we were talking about. So
Yes.
yeah, we can
Yes.
have walk-in talks with wellness experts. We can have walk-in talks with people from our membership. We can have all sorts of walk-in talks. And so we're just now building out what that plan is going to be, but would love to walk and talk with you.
Of course. I am so excited about your app. I know you've been working really hard to get that done. You and your team, all of you have been
Yes.
trying to get that done. So congratulations that that's finally
Thank you.
launching. And of course, I would love to do a walk and talk with Girl Trek. That
Mhm.
would be so much fun. I would love it. Yeah, listeners, get onto Girl Trek. Yeah, join the movement. Get out and start walking if you are listening and feel inspired. Get involved. Take the pledge. Download the app. Do the school. So, is it self care school? Self care school.
Yeah, my self-care school.
My self care school. Do all the
Hmm.
things. Get
Yeah.
involved. Get involved. We are living in some pretty heavy times right now.
Hmm.
And I'm curious around what does it mean for you to be ready to exhale right now in this chapter in your life, in this moment in our history? What
Hmm.
does it mean for you to be ready to exhale?
Yeah. For me, it means that even though I know we're living through some very heavy times right now, because I'm ready to exhale, I refuse to go down that path of holding my breath.
Mm, that's right.
Like, that
That's
it
right.
means, yeah, it means that I'm ready for my best, most healthiest, most fulfilled life. I'm ready to experience my birthright of abundance and happiness and joy and all of those things. Like, I'm ready for that. And
That's
so
right.
it means that if I'm ready for that, I'm not going to let what's happening delay me from what it is that I need to experience and what it is that I want for myself. And that, I think, is my greatest advice to everybody right now, which is to not become distracted by what
Mhm.
is right in front of us, because and allow our eyesight to see around the corner and beyond, and to hold in your eyesight the vision for what that is that you want for yourself. Like when we're all talking about exhaling, it's because it there is an image that all of it comes to mind, I'm guarantee you, in everybody's mind when we think of exhaling. It's like because we want to experience what we're hoping to call in something, right? Some sort of calm in our nervous system, some sort of
That's
peace in our
right.
environment, some sort of
Mhm.
finally this thing happening for us. This, like, that's where you can finally exhale, right? And so whatever
Mhm.
those things are, like, focus heavily on them right now. Be a spiritual warrior. Refuse to give in, refuse to be distracted, refuse to be guided over to any other ideas that about what could happen except for your own victory.
Amen. Amen. That's
Yeah,
it right there.
yeah,
What's coming up for me right now is like we are no longer waiting to exhale. We're not
yes,
waiting.
that's right. No.
Even with everything going on, with
Mm-mm.
everything going on, we're still choosing to exhale. We're choosing to carve out time to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize our mental health, to prioritize our physical health and our overall well being. Like, we're not waiting
That's
any
right. That's
longer.
right. Yeah.
Well, if listeners want to find you, follow your work, are you on socials? What are your handles? Yeah.
Yes.
Where are you at?
You can find me walking in my neighborhood. No, in DC.
That's right.
I am on social. You can find me on Instagram at Vanessa Treks. I'm usually there sharing what I see, what I'm out while I'm out on my walks and connecting with folks. So definitely find me there. And then soon you can find me on the Underground app, actually walking. So join my crew.
I love that. You are a beautiful soul,
Thank you.
beautiful
So are you.
spirit. I am honored to know you and be in community with you and to just be able to say you're a part of my sisterhood and my community. So thank you
Yes.
for being who you are, the light that you are, what you're doing for Black women through your mission and vision. Y'all's mission and vision is just beautiful and it's impacting so many. My hope for you is that you continue to find space to lay in fields and laugh and dream and be. So thank
Thank
you
you.
for who you
Thank
are.
you, Camila. Let me say to you before we close out that I have been in this space and this work a lot for a long time, and it's always clear to me to see who is like living and walking in their most authentic truth and self. And that's definitely what I experience from you all the time. And so I'm like, yeah, like you feel like an exhale. you feel like that, like when you come into the room, like that's what the energy that you bring. And so thank you for just the
Mm,
platform and for all the work that you do. I believe that like iron sharpens iron, and that we are
that's
drawn
right.
to the community that is going to aspirationally pull us up. And so I just think that we are in that community together. I think that everybody listening to this podcast is in that community. I think
Yeah,
everybody who's in GirlTrek is in that community, and that's the power of what we're doing.
that's right. That's right. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. I receive all that you just said. I'm pulling it in. I'm pulling that energy in. Thank you,
Yes.
Vanessa. Exhale is a social movement prioritizing the overall well being of Black women. You can join our movement by subscribing to this podcast and downloading Exhale app, and by continuing to prioritize yourself and your well being. Keep taking deep inhales and long, long exhales. Until next time.